All right, thank you everyone for joining today's webinar. So my name is Eric Schmitz. I'm a US Sales Manager here at Newgen Software, and I will be your moderator throughout today's webinar, which is the Accelerating Automation at Scale, Unleashing the Power of Low-Code Platforms. So we have some guest speakers today from Forrester and Guidewire. So today's session is going to delve into the realm of core insurance optimization. So in this webinar, we will explore the powerful synergy of integrating content management and low-code, no-code applications to achieve operational excellence in the insurance industries. So without further ado, I am going to go ahead and introduce our speakers for today's webinar. First off will be Ellen Carney. Ellen is an principal analyst at Forrester, serving in the financial services industry, such as insurance, wealth, investment, and asset management industries. Focus being on technology decisions that financial services firms are investing in, which would be including core platform modernization, replacement, and the integration of emerging technologies with legacy systems. Our second presenter will be Tim Kennedy. Tim is a seasoned professional with over 33 years of extensive expertise in effectively leading the commercialization of software-based offerings within the insurance software industry. Tim works at Guidewire in the Global Solutions Alliances team, supporting partners seeking to be a part of the Ready for Guidewire program partners to help ease the integration with the Guidewire Insurance Suite platform. And then last but not least, we have Anurag Shah, who heads up Newgen Software's Products and Solutions Division for the Americas and also runs sales for Newgen's Enterprise Business Unit. Anurag has been with Newgen Software for over 24 years. So at this point, I'm going to go ahead and hand it over to Ellen to go ahead and kick off our webinar.
Great, Eric, thank you so much. And it's terrific to be with such a great group of people today, talking about something that's really, really relevant. But let's start off with talking about some of the things that we want you all to take away from our session today. First, the importance of content management in the insurance industry and the impact that it has on the operational efficiency of our organizations, especially within a robust core insurance platform. Then we'll shift gears a little bit and we'll look at some of the capabilities and benefits of low-code, no-code in insurance operations, a hot area. And then we'll again shift gears, looking at strategies for integrating content management and low-code, no-code applications successfully. And finally, we'll wrap it up with some real-life use cases and success stories from people who've been through the process and had real-world success. So let's talk a little bit and start off with what some of the top priorities are for insurance organizations in 2023. Number one, voiced by 77% of our respondents, we want to improve the experience of our customers. No surprise, hand in glove with that, is we want to grow revenue. And the two go hand in glove together. And then interesting, number three, reducing cost. Now, frankly, we have not seen that show up in top 10, frankly, in terms of insurance business priorities, except for the lockdown period of the pandemic. So that, March, April, May, June timeframe back in 2020, where everyone was hunkering down, we need to reduce costs. So this was also the case, reduce costs for last year as well. So we've seen a decided pivot in 2022 and 2023 in the focus in reducing our costs, yet not impacting our ability to grow, and certainly not impacting the experience that we're able to deliver to our customers. And of course, these priorities are also supported by the IT organizations. So here are the top IT business priorities for insurance organizations. First, no surprise, we want to improve the security and privacy of our operations. Make sure that our proprietary corporate information remains secure and the privacy of our customers, is maintained as well. No surprise, just like we saw in terms of, overall business priority, the IT organization is on the hook for reducing their IT costs as well. So how do we do that in a way that, does not impact our ability to serve, our employees, our partners, and our customers? We want to also, optimize our IT operating performance model. So, how do we make sure that our IT organization is, running like a finely tuned machine, and also do it with, at the same time where we're reducing the exposure from risk for our IT organization. So the business has a lot on their plates. The IT organizations that supports the business, including our low-code, no-code platforms, from a professional development organization, are on the hook for the same kind of priorities. And of course, when we think about the importance of this in the context of content management, which is something that Tim is going to talk more about. When we think about content management, well, this is the way that we're going to acquire and grow our customers and accounts. So it enables that customer experience and that revenue growth opportunity that we saw in the previous slide. It also helps us reduce time to market for new products, new offerings, new experiences, and getting all the information about these new offers disseminated out to our customers, our prospects, our agents, in whatever channel that they choose to, consume that information. And finally, it helps us reduce tech and ops costs in terms of our content management function within our organization. So when we tie together what's going on in the business, what's going on in IT, and with what's going on in the way we're serving content to our customers, it's a neat set of synergies that we have to be able to support. But let's face it, the insurance industry is undergoing some pretty rapid market changes. So we're trying to make that old car go really, really fast. Economic stresses, on the part of a supply chain that's impacting our claims operations, the ability of our customers to actually buy the insurance that they need and want. At the same time, we're seeing shorter business planning horizons. So we have to do more faster and be able to switch gears to be able to do that. And no surprise, and this is especially true in the case of all things low code, no code, the boundaries between the business organization and the capabilities that they're able to deliver, and the IT organization and the capabilities that they're able to deliver are getting awfully blurry now. And finally, we just finished up 62 interviews on the future of insurance, and holy cow, there's a hot emerging tech that's both luring in and distracting business and technology organizations. And it's important to provide guardrails around some of the emerging technologies that we're seeing, so we can still meet the business objectives that we're on the hook to be able to provide to our policyholders, to our shareholders, and to the community at large. In terms of some of the drivers that we're seeing shaping the tech stack portfolio moving forward, first and foremost, kind of going back to that content management piece, personalization. So how do we create these individualized products, experiences, messages that allows us to shift from being commodity, insurance organizations, to providing that kind of individualized experience that makes the shopping experience harder and drives loyalty? Well, number two, customers. The customer entity is actually changing. And so, that's certainly going to have implications for the content we push out. So, we're moving away from, the policy owner to really kind of understanding a bigger orbit around their lives, the household, for instance. So how do we understand what's going on in that household that's going to shape their insurance needs and experiences moving forward, and what kind of content do we need to push them? Sometimes quick, fast, in a hurry. So, obviously creating a need for deeper insights into a much larger realm around that focus on the customer. Of course, automation. If we're thinking about how we're going to reduce IT costs and business costs, automation certainly is one of the ways that we've seen that move forward. So we're seeing this in customer experience. We're seeing this in operational performance, financials. They're driving more hands-free, touchless, straight-through processing capabilities for the interactions that our customers have with us. And maybe we'll have a little chance to talk about something interesting when we get to the Q&A session around this whole idea of automation and empathy. And engagement. How do we the changing nature of engagement, the way customers want to deal with us through channels, how they want to consume information about, what we offer as insurance organization, who our agents are, that of course is driving new tech experiences and platforms, and the need to be able to make changes quickly. And finally, all things that we have to master, it's the platform. And these platform transformations are driving new kinds of business values within our organization, where we're adding capabilities through our marketplaces as core system vendors such as Guideware that allow insurance organizations to kind of hit those business priorities that we had talked about. So it has big implications, obviously, on the tech stack. This is, of course, a imagery that everyone is pretty familiar with if they come from the IT and oftentimes the business side of the organization. But we have to think about how we're going to optimize that tech stack to prepare for the coming decade, where we're going to have new competitors, new expectations coming from customers, certainly changing regulation, and new kinds of risks that we have to be able to support in terms of meeting the needs of our customers, and being able to remain profitable and grow and retain our customers. And as a result of that, what we're seeing is insurance organizations are definitely investing in their tech stack to be able to support sales. A couple of key areas here that's worth mentioning. What we see for policy admin systems, about 35% of insurance organizations that we surveyed last year are either going to be expanding their investments, 27%, or 8% are going to be beginning new investments in their policy admin systems. Digital insurance platforms, that's another key area. That's that kind of front-end digital portal, digital experience, that front office that has that kind of content, that wow factor that makes it simple, easy to navigate for our customers to come in for applications, for quote and bind, and obviously for policy servicing and claims as well. And then I think another really important one here to focus on is payments. So, the most common interaction that we have with our customers, here we have 32%, a third of our respondents saying that we're going to be investing in our payments infrastructure here, and how are we going to push out this kind of content about our kind of new payment forms that we're going to be accepting across different channels, for instance. So obviously, big tech investments that we're going to be seeing coming from insurance organizations through this year that kind of support the sales objectives and servicing objectives for insurance organizations. So core systems, but as I said, one of the things that we're also seeing is, we're adding capabilities to our systems of record, our systems of insight, our systems of engagement that are going to allow us to move quicker and faster. And it means, we're oftentimes turning to our insurance IT organizations and our dev organizations to be able to support that. And as we saw, the IT business priorities, in our second slide, number 2 was I have to reduce, my insurance IT costs. And how some of the ways that we're doing that is obviously being able to extend the reach of our development teams that are already, under pressure to meet business software needs. So the business, obviously, in this very dynamic environment that we're in, the demands are insatiable that are coming from the business in terms of new custom features that they want on our mobile apps, in our websites, even within internal or partner process apps. The backlog never ends. So as soon as one thing, you've checked off one thing on your backlog, there's probably 4 or 5 or 10 more that have been added since you did that. And then finally, with all the push to moving into the cloud, we want to make sure that our, cloud applications are, remaining secure. So, that's distracting a lot of IT organizations from, staying up with some of these things that, we've talked about here. So dev teams have a lot on their plates. And when we asked insurance development organizations at the end of last year, what's going to be their top objectives in the coming 12 months? Number 1, voiced by more than a third, we want to increase the delivery of successful features, projects, and outcomes. So, we have to do more. They're going to be able to support our business. We have to do a better job. Number 2, tie with improving our supply chain practices from a software perspective. We got to beat, business demands for custom applications and, fix up the backlog that we had just seen. We have to, ensure that the software is secure. We, want to, in all things, agile and DevOps and We need to increase the use of tools and practices, as we become an agile organization. So there's a lot on, insurance development teams' plates right now, to, meet the needs of the business. And of course, the business has, a lot of decisions that they're looking to make when it comes to, platforms. So when we asked business professionals, what some of the platform strategies that they were employing, of course, a key one here is, we want data and analytics. We want to understand customer behavior, and we want to make smarter decisions. Think about that customer behavior in terms of the kind of content that you might be pushing out as an insurance organization, around an event or a trigger or something like that could prompt a positive decision around an insurance purchase or upsell, cross-sell. We want to implement more digital experience platforms. So, mobile apps, which are basically the supercomputers in our pockets at this point in time, or, better website automation capabilities. More digital operations platforms that power, our operations transactions compliance. So, ERP or CRM, that would be supporting, for instance, our agents through an agency management system. So a lot of platform decisions that the business of insurance is actually driving, in that coming year as those development resources are, under pressure. As I said, we opened this up at the beginning, is there's a really blurry lines these days between the business and tech organization. And part of the reason for that is the fact that because business leaders, in our organizations are also, technology populace, their expectations about how tech can be used has changed. Number two is, it's just too important for the business not to be, involved. I'm running a P&L. This is going to be a means for me to be more successful in driving my CX, my operational, and my, financial performance metrics. So, lines between the business and tech organizations are blurring, and frankly, it's only get a little bit more blurry as our development organizations are screaming for help in terms of being able to meet the ever expanding needs with frankly shrinking IT resources. So there's an opportunity for insurance business and technology professionals to kind of push the easy button that's going to let them reset their world. And in the process, it's going to take out some of the gnarliness, the circuitous paths to getting to ideas and destinations within our IT organizations in insurance. So, it's going to help us drive the outcomes that we are talking about and deliver on actually, the ideas that we've thought about, but we need to take, the circuitous path to that, down to a much more streamlined process. And of course, one of the ways we're able to do that now is low code, no code. And it's a key streamliner for the business of insurance. And it's accelerating the shift from becoming product-centric to customer-centric organizations. Kind of think about that in terms of the content management functionality that we had talked about already, where you're pushing key messages to your customers and doing it very quickly and kind of moving away from, becoming a commodity to something that comes across as more individualized, personalized, bespoke, that keeps customers loyal longer. It also lets us create new business models and products that can be shown to our, business partners, to managers, directors, leaders, not just abstracted on a PowerPoint slide or a Word document or something like that. So the beauty of low code, no code, especially around, process apps or workflow, or as we talked about, mocking up of a of a web app or a web experience, you can actually show it very easily. And of course, this lets us free up all those under pressure dev team programmers, because we're able to put this capability into the hands of the business. So what we're typically seeing is, again, this is getting rolled out to more and more business roles within insurance organizations, but not without some governance. So, what we're typically seeing is this is, is being rolled out as an advantage, and increasingly what we're seeing This is surprising, and it's based on some interviews that we did last year around low code, no code, and insurance. Is that we're actually seeing that the decision for low code, no code is not happening within the IT organization. It's not happening within a specific business unit like distribution, underwriting, or claims. Wait for it, corporate strategy. Corporate strategy sees this as the way for insurance organizations to be able to accelerate their move forward. Again, speeding up time to market. So insurance companies are turning to low code, to address those changing and growing demands. So when we asked what they were currently using and would want to use over the coming 12 months, low code development tools top the list in terms of the ones that they're currently using. So they're clearly seeing the business value here, but there's still room for insurance organizations, to move further along. 59%, are not using these currently, and it's putting them at a disadvantage moving forward. So, it's a way to meet growing demand, but, it's really certainly putting pressure on organizations that have not embraced it, to, kind of keep up with, the companies that have. And of course, we're seeing different apps being developed because of this in citizen development versus professional development. And in this report that's about to be published, we asked, what kinds of apps are being used by low code, being built on your low code platforms coming from both citizen as well as professional development. This kind of gives you a sense here in terms of citizen development, which is our darker green. Well, it's stuff that's, again, often delivering content to our customers. Complete customer-facing apps, mobile and IT, which is, just down below the half point on the screen here. 38% of citizen development respondents are saying that's what we're building. 44% say we're building web and mobile front ends, the way we're delivering content, the way we're delivering experiences in insurance. And then, of course, no surprise, 44% also said we're using administrative apps for gathering, tracking, reporting on all that data that, again, that those systems of insight that are letting us know what's the right offer, the right content to push to that customer just when they are most interested, there's something going on in their lives in the channel that they want. So, in the realm of what's going on with the business of insurance, their tech organizations, and the kinds of content and experiences they're pushing out to customers, it comes together very holistically in what we're talking about today in terms of the role of low code, no code platforms in advancing our content management capabilities. And with that, I'll pass it to Tim.
Great, thank you. I think we're just going to do a bit of a slide handoff here.
Yeah.
And let me see if this works. So hopefully you're able to see my slides. Is that correct? Okay. So just wanted to talk a little bit here about maybe a little more tactically about what's going on within P&C insurance around CMS and around low to no code. A little bit of a background on myself. I work with Guidewire software. Guidewire is one of the leading providers of P&C software globally. We offer solutions in sort of the core back office space. That includes, underwriting and claims and billing, but we've also branched out over the years for digital tools and as well into data analytics and AI. Prior to joining Background, I worked with another insurance software company and actually spent about 10 years implementing CMS solutions within insurance, and so very familiar with the technology, although I will admit it does go back a number of years. I believe my first implementation of CMS in insurance was in 1996. And some things haven't changed, but definitely other things have. So a little bit more about Guidewire. Just for context, we are 100% P&C focused and have currently about 500 plus insurers as customers. We also have the leading ecosystem in P&C insurance with over 180 what we call solution partners. These are companies like Newgen, where we've worked with them to publish integrations between our core platform and their solution and put them on our marketplace. And presently we have over 200 partner apps available for our customers to use. Over both the past, I guess, 10 years that we've been offering the marketplace, we've had over 1,400 downloads of our applications, and see this growing more and more over time, especially as we're now migrating to our new cloud-native platform. A couple other interesting things about us, currently have over 950 dedicated employees just to software development and R&D. This is definitely industry leading within P&C. Another data point about our alliances program, we have a consulting alliances program as well, where we work with around 50 consulting partners, and to date have certified over 20,000 partner consultants for the implementation on Guidewire software. So just a little bit about the state of the technology within P&C right now around CMS and low code. As I mentioned, CMS has been a critical component for P&C insurers going on 30 years that I've been involved in it. It is a required capability in underwriting and claims implementations. And Guidewire per se does not offer a full-featured CMS within our solution. What we do is provide an integration framework to allow companies like Newgen to build tight integrations within our system for all of their CMS needs. In terms of what we're seeing with low to no code providers, definitely seeing a huge uptick in availability of new providers in this space. Again, going back 30 years ago, we had very rudimentary capabilities around automating decision making and automating routing of work, more on the work management side. But definitely as time has moved on and there's been a better embrace of AI technologies and leveraging the new architectures as we've moved to the cloud and browser front ends. The capabilities of the low-code providers have grown exponentially, and so now we have a situation where many, like Newgen, have their own marketplace and have pre-built integrations to popular solutions, and their customers are able to download those and implement them. Right now, I believe about 50% of our customers utilize some form of a low-code solution through a variety of different partners that we have, and probably I think it's around 100% on the content management side. So I think what we're seeing in terms of the challenge and the opportunity here is that there's some real potential benefits around the robust integration between CMS and low code to no code providers. It's really this convergence and the tight integration that we feel is going to be offering significant benefits here as people look to leverage more advances within these technologies. So some of the benefits in a bit more detail. So RPA, the potential for increased productivity benefits is significant, right? So RPA, for those who don't know, is around robotics processing and automation, and it can automate sort of repetitive, mundane tasks, data entry, claim registration, policy servicing. And so the whole concept is, right, by leveraging this, the workforce could focus on more value-added tasks. And so, as mentioned previously, about 50% of our customers leverage this, and Guidewire also does provide sort of targeted RPA capabilities within certain core areas around FNOL. But definitely the interest that we're seeing out there is, especially as you deploy across the enterprise and the ability to sort of move between different business areas and systems and solutions. This is really making additional headway above what's been done in the past. Customer service is also an area that we're seeing more interest in around leveraging this. And I think a lot of it is coming down to finding ways to leverage AI solutions within those. So, it's really around providing more personalized, more personalized customer experience. So, with a CMS, obviously, as it's been done for 30 years, can help manage and present relative content. But AI can be used to, understand customer preferences and, needs for behavioral patterns, and just offer personalized services and products. So, lastly, what we're seeing is, the potential for a lot of, additional, productivity savings, coming from the use of cloud technologies. So, being able to offer these different capabilities in the cloud and then integrate within the cloud, not only has the benefits around being able to, reduce the need for hardware infrastructure and to allow for scalability, and flexibility, but it also, enables a greater degree of integration across a number of different disparate platforms. So, some of the new opportunities that we're seeing, in this space using CMS, low code, and also, leveraging AI. We're seeing just some new sort of opportunities being presented, by tightly integrating all three of them. So, historically, data handling is kind of, leveraged structured data, accord forms, insurer-specific forms, and those have been well managed by OCR, ICR technologies for a lot of years. But the new frontier is around unstructured data and the ability to get a general email that's not specific to an individual request, or a report, a medical report, an underwriting report, and then to be able to actually go through that, identify what it is, pull out key data attributes and items, and then action based on those. We're seeing that as sort of the big new frontier. And so, not only are we working with, partners like Newgen in this space, Guidewire is also adding and providing, additional AI capabilities in certain key areas around, fraud, and on the underwriting side, sort of, identifying early potential risk areas, that may occur should claims result. So an interesting case study that we had recently was, a request from our demo team. They were working with a new customer, and they were wanting to see how you could actually handle a email or a fax that comes into their office that's just a letter, and use a CMS to sort of store it, use AI to actually try to figure out what it is, pull out the key attributes, and then RPA to route it to the right people, or possibly even action it directly without human involvement. And what we found was, although we worked with a number of partners and a different different technology providers in the space, kind of bringing all of those together in one solution was definitely taking a lot of time and a lot of integration effort. And so, we'd actually brought Newgen in to work with our sales and our demo team, and within a very, very short period of time, within minutes, they were able to mock up a case or an example where something like that would come in, where they could identify attributes and route it, and largely that was a result of this tighter integration within an individual platform. So as always, as people are looking at the best way to sort of leverage these technologies, do you look to sort of pick best of breed solutions and then be responsible for their integration, or are you looking more for organizations that have actually done some of the heavy lifting and integrated all of the different capabilities into one, where the primary advantage is that it's tightly integrated and it works. So some other examples that we're seeing emerging in the space, definitely around the use of generative AI and language models that can not only identify key attributes out of unstructured text, but understand the full breadth of the requests and generate responses from them. So that could be anything from, on the text side, unstructured data in underwriting reports, to evaluate risk and potential fraud. But it also moves into other areas outside of the language space, and doing things like reviewing crash videos to try and identify potential fault, or using telematics data with first notice of loss to initiate a case, and then also gather vehicle data, accident image, video storage, and automate adjudication. So all of these technologies are in the very early stages of sort of fully integrating across all of these platforms. It is slow going because, especially around some of the generative AI technology, it's extraordinarily new, and there's so many unresolved issues around just general areas of compliance that people are cautious about how quickly they move. Last thing I'll maybe conclude on is around some of the barriers to implementation. So again, it's been around for 30 years, but with all of these new technologies, especially this overlay of AI on top of things, there's a lot of new barriers that have to be very carefully worked through. So data privacy and security is huge, right? So not only is it cloud level kind of typical concepts around data privacy and security, but it's around handling sensitive personal data, the impacts of a breach, and what the use of cloud-based AI services could potentially do in terms of exposing data to new risks. Regulatory compliance, right? This has always been a challenge with sort of new introductions of technology. It takes a while for the various state agencies to develop their regulations around managing them. So AI and RPA, they're especially generative AIs are going to be subject to a number of future regulations that govern data handling and privacy, but also things like AI ethics and more. And so being able to sort of research but move at the pace where the regulators are comfortable is definitely definitely a trade-off. Integration challenges, as I've sort of talked about previously, right? Especially as you're going out to the cloud, right? Having a bunch of different technologies all sort of loosely integrating, and then trying to write the integration capabilities yourselves as an insurer, definitely adds a layer of complexity, right? So again, back to having a tighter integration, you sort of deal with the trade-off around maybe best of breed around every individual component against something that that is tightly integrated and works easily and deploys easily. The last barrier that is something that's always mentioned, but this is going to be a big one coming up, right? Generative AI is going to require significant changes with insurers, both to understand the capabilities, manage the output, but as well as sort of deal with staff unease about future changes. So again, it's slow rolling, lots to sort of be determined, but it's probably going to be one of the more disruptive technology changes that many of us have seen in our careers. So with that, I'll turn it back over to Newgen, and I'll let you guys take it from there.
Sure. A quick handoff to the next slide, and we should be good. All right. Thank you so much. That was those were two great insights from Alan and Tim, both on the industry and thought leader, as well as from the Guidewire perspective. So what I'm going to do for the next 15 odd minutes is I'm going to look at how the acceleration on automation at scale, how does insurers look at accelerating that Ellen talked about a lot of low code, no code perspectives, aspects, a lot of insights from the surveys that Forrester did, and same thing Tim talked about from the Guidewire's perspective, its users perspective, the insurers. So what I'm going to look at is how do we help accelerating those automation and make it at scale. So three things, right? I mean, the carriers today, they are looking to address number one, of course, the customer experience, which drives their top line. But it also needs, they're also looking at excelling in their operational activity. Ellen talked about saving of the cost from both operations as well as IT. So how do you streamline those operations and improve those bottom lines? And then the third, but probably the equally important aspect is innovation in the business. How do these insurers unlock new business opportunities with their policyholders, prospective policyholders, and existing customers in their endeavor to grow the business, you know? And we look at it from two perspectives. One is obviously the content, and the second is from the low code, no code. And then we'll see how it, when combines both of these together, how it gives the advantage to the insurers in their endeavor to accelerate that automation. So document journeys. So there are different channels. We have the insurance industry is still a lot of paper intensive. It is huge on paper. And then the next big is the email. Portal and mobile are catching up, but so there are multiple of these channels, and the journeys that we are talking, these journeys encompass flows through the front, mid, and back offices. If you look at the if you look at the content data, which are your enterprise assets, these constitute your insurance proposals, your contracts, brochures, product documents, terms and conditions, all of these. And all of these content and data could be lying in the form of paper in drawers, in cabinets, electronic files on shared drives, desktops, emails. So it becomes critical to manage this entire content, which is mostly unorganized. And being unorganized gives you, it is prone to getting lost. It is prone for errors. When you are looking for the right content, it is often not found. And the governance and audit in going through and managing all of this content becomes all the more critical as you move into the processes. Now, if you look at automation, the digital transformation, low code, no code, right? The scaling of these automation requires a structured approach. You got to drive people, system, and processes across departments. The piecemeal approach is no more working anymore. Those days are gone when one line of business or one process used to be taken up, and months and years used to get spent on automating that. Instead, today, the insurers are looking at orchestrating on top of their existing systems, on top of their core systems, business applications like Guidewire, building those comprehensive journeys around these systems for completeness, visibility, and to be able to monitor the execution. Cloud native, with the cloud native, I mean, everybody talks about cloud, the benefits of cloud, the productivity gains of the cloud. But look at it also from the dynamically scaling through capabilities like Dockers, containers, DevOps, CI/CD pipelines. And when you're looking at your insurance processes, there are certain high velocity processes, high velocity content uses. So you got to identify those work steps which are maybe seasonal in nature, and you need to architect those into those separate containers for scaling at the peak times using microservices. So these are the aspects of, these are the two aspects which Newgen 1, the platform, which is artificial intelligence led low code, no code, combined with the content, brings all of those capabilities to the insurers. And how it does, we'll take a quick peek into those in the next few minutes. So if you look at we talked about customer journey and experience across the channels, web, mobile, tablet, partner interfaces, your producers, your agents, and then those smart work desks. and all of those journeys and experiences are exposed using the integration framework to utilize the underlying capabilities from different modules. So your intelligent business processes, orchestrating engine, process monitoring, robotic process automation, rules engine, artificial intelligence driven rules engine, prescriptive decisioning, continuous learning, content management, the content services platform that we talked about. We'll go a little bit deep into that as we go along. The customer communication on demand, batch publishing, broadcasting, and of course cloud with artificial intelligence, where you are looking at analytics, you are looking at visualization, you are looking at bringing those process insights, and all of these with a very robust and comprehensive governance and control, giving you audits, giving you those statutory and regulatory compliances, to be able to manage your rights, deployments, DevOps, CI/CD, security. And this platform has been consistently, widely, and deeply recognized by the likes of Forrester and Gartner for about 15 years or more. In fact, Forrester has recently, in their latest content wave report, recognized Newgen as a leader into the leaders wave. So what it also tells you is that the platform is contemporary. The platform continues to evolve, innovate, and bring in those leading edge technologies as and when those are becoming available. So a quick look into how we have got into, Tim talked about tight integration between Guidewire and Newgen. So a quick look into how Newgen One platform brings all of those capabilities with the users when they are working inside Guidewire, maybe in Policy Center, Claim Center, Billing Center, and so on and so forth. And in addition to that, if they are working in any other backend applications or other policy systems, how does this Newgen One platform exposes those repository views from the content, enabling users to search, enabling users to look at the documents and various other operational features using its integration capabilities. So all of those capabilities are extended using the what we are calling work desk, which gets embedded within your host application like Guidewire. And we will see how it gives you those capabilities. Within Newgen One platform, we talked about front end, we talked about mid office and back office. So within Newgen One platform, there are multiple modules which helps you drive those customer experience, drive those customer communications across different interfaces like mobile, tab, web, portal. And in the middle, all of those experiences which are required to be rendered to the customer are often driven through the operations or your employees who are working on those transactions, those policies, those service requests, contact center. So how a content enabled work desk allows these users to be able to manage those workflows, processes, looking at the decision systems, looking at leveraging those decision systems, and at all the times with a two-way pull and push integration catalog, talking to Guidewire, talking to your core systems, talking to your ERP, and bringing those process intelligence through artificial intelligence and those kind of technologies. And all of these giving the business activity monitoring, all of the activities that are being done on customer side or on the employee or operation side, bringing those visibility through the business activity monitoring. So if you look at how Newgen One Workdesk is being used, either launching from Guidewire, let's say a Claim Center or Policy Center, or also enabling these users to natively launch it from the Newgen and work on it. So essentially what it does is it gives you a seamless access to your entire content, your entire workflows, low code, no code, the rules, the artificial intelligence technologies, and all of those things right there in the screen in which the Guidewire users are working, or within the native application within of Newgen One. So let's see a little bit deep into different aspects of the content. We talked about insurance industry still heavy on paper, relying on mail. So those mailroom operations where the papers and the mails are coming, those are required to be captured at source. The platform enables you to classify, compress, index, and put it in the repository for the process. And while it goes into the repository, it allows the intelligent document processing, IDP, allows you to do certain activities like content analytics, identifying and extracting those data from structured and unstructured documents, and putting those into your processes and repositories. You are looking at your content assets, your organizational content assets, where you are trying to enable your various document operations natively, as well as in the third-party applications like Guidewire. We talked about it. Operations like search, view, annotate, merge and split pages to create and assemble new documents. So all of those capabilities are exposed through this platform. And if the insurance industry, if you look at the very nature of its industry, in the last 3 to 5 decades, the insurers would have acquired multiple content repositories at different point in time. And often these are outdated. So what it means is your content and your data and your information are scattered through the organization. And here is and then you are looking at content federation and consolidation based on your specific organization's IT landscape and situation. Sometimes you may want to look at just federating through the repositories. At other times, when you are hitting the wall, you may want to migrate entire content from one repository into the modernized and digital systems like Newgen one. And I'm going to talk about one of the case study which also highlights these aspects, how one of the leading insurer here in US utilized our platform to do all of those things. And then you are looking at end-to-end lifecycle management of the content, your renewals, your expirations, maturity of the policies, adhering to the statutory and regulatory compliances like FINRA SEA 17A4 for the immutable storage of all the artifacts, Department of Defense 5015 compliant record management policies to manage your life cycle of the documents. And we talked about various channels and contents, the shapes and forms of the content, whether it is paper or email, audio, video, contact center recordings, or an accident video which is sent as part of the claim. All of these require scrutiny. All of these go into certain exceptions. So you need something. You need a way to resolve those exceptions. You need a way to push it into various delegation of authority for approvals, decisioning. You want to manage your turnaround time, service level agreements, and key performance indicators through this low-code, no-code platform. And this platform, it essentially facilitates your complex information and content to flow across front, mid, and back office users. It drives efficiencies and customer satisfaction through comprehensive automation that we talked about, leveraging the content across processes for your enhanced customer experience. Today, we are living in a world of hybrid working, so the cloud becomes your centralized ecosystem. You are looking at a better customer experience, but that only starts from proportionately better employee experience, which results into the productivity and helps rendering that desired customer experience. So when you look at the low-code platform and you want to extend your enterprise applications like Guidewire, you are looking at technologies like microservices, web services, web APIs, which are agile, which are nimble, which helps you bring in those pre-integrated add-ins like Microsoft Office applications, which brings in the pre-built processing workdays that we talked about for Guidewire or other enterprise applications, which enables your users to work on the content seamlessly from the host applications, as well as natively within Newgen 1 for operations like search, view, merging, splitting, documents creation, collaborating, and bringing those integrated desktop within the core policy systems. Of course, whether you want to deploy on cloud or you want to do a hybrid with some combination on the on-prem, both the models are enabled and supported here. The sustainability has become a new business reality. The platform enables you to be more electronic. It helps you tend towards paperless with minimal resource consumption via cloud and front, mid, and back office digitalization. So in all, if you see this platform, Newgen 1 platform addresses 6 key elements of what an insurer needs. The first one is, of course, built for change because it is low code, no code, so it helps you orchestrate those journeys. Second, not only it helps you 1 or 2 processes, but you are looking at really scaling up the automation, where enterprise-wide platform and platform adoption and process automation. And in that, you are looking at leveraging the existing investments of your packages, of your business applications like Guidewire, and maximizing the value from those investments by enhancing the responsiveness and other capabilities of the systems and applications. Bringing content inside the processes, embedding your content in the workflows that you are doing at your operations, also delivering these electronically to your customers and policyholders, and bringing that customer handling time down in your contact center. Artificial intelligence for continuous improvement, scaling with the cloud, leveraging the business model transformation and bringing it scale across enterprise. So those are the 6 key benefits or aspects which the low code, no code platform combined with the content brings to the insurer. Let's look at the case study that I was talking about. This is a case study about digitalizing the entire policy servicing for this insurer. They looked at it to provide 2 things. One is, of course, ease of use through digital delivery, implementing self-service for the not only for the policy holders but also the agents and the producers, and reduce their fraud alerts in various contact center operations. And of course, they wanted to do this omni-channel engagement across all interaction mediums, web, chat, electronic, all of those things. So just before the Newgen 1 platform was leveraged, they were living with more than 150 different workflows in their contact center and operations, working through 2 legacy applications and going to 4 different legacy repositories across to find the content across those couple of 100 million documents. All of those were transformed digitally into 14 simplified and optimized intelligent workflow processes. So those 150 were rationalized into 14. The 4 repositories were consolidated into 1 with content classification and smart indexing infused into the consolidated repositories. And they were able to do this all from start to finish within flat 8 months and with just 2 weeks of stabilization from go live. So that's the speed and agility that we are talking, that Ellen talked about, that Tim also referred to, that what the low code, no code platforms gives these insurers when those are combined with the content. And the benefits that you look at, lowering the cost, improving your efficiency, having a stable and configurable platform with integrations with push and pull, both 2 ways integration, a deeper insight into transaction processing, improving your customer experience. And it does not just stop here. In case of this customer, they continue with these initiatives and they combine their self-service on the web to achieve those higher degree and broader range of transaction automation. There are multiple iterations that they are continuing to do here, and they are looking at expansion, they are looking at future growth, they are looking at bringing in more backend applications to further up the transaction automation. And last but not the least, I just wanted to give you a quick view on various products and solutions that this platform has been used across insurers here in US and global. So you look at individual insurance processes, point of sale, new business, claims, service management, agent management, all of those areas, all the items that you see here are implemented on the same platform where the low code, no code, and the content combination has given the benefits to these insurers. With that, let me pass it on to the host for the questions if we have any from the audience.
All right, great. Thank you, everybody. Thank you to all our speakers today. We do have a few questions that I will be going ahead and asking as part of this session here, and we'll start with Tim. So, what can insurers do to reduce their total cost of ownership of integrating multiple vendors to support all of these technologies?
You know, I guess there's a couple of strategies, right? You know, the one I talked about in this presentation was, you know, finding a vendor that has actually, you know, done the integration and has integrated, you know, more tightly than you know, you might do if you were working with different companies. But the second thing is something Guidewire has really tried to do, which is, you know, build out our ecosystem and work with all of our, you know, roughly 180 partners to create, you know, pre-built integrations to our solutions. So by, you know, using Guidewire as the hub, you know, a variety of different companies can actually quickly integrate into the ecosystem and work that way. So I think both of those are viable solutions, and, you know, people should sort of, you know, evaluate. I guess it's probably more of a best of breed versus an integrated capability, you know, in terms of the approach.
Awesome. Thank you, Tim. Next one is for Ellen. What do you believe are the key underpinnings of a successful low code, no code strategy? In looking at the insurance market, how effectively are insurers set up for a successful low code, no code strategy?
Yeah, a great question. And I have to say the key underpinning, and I'd love to hear Anurag and Tim's perspective, is that you got some guardrails. You've put some guardrails in place for your low code, no code strategy, and people understand how it's to be used. You know, we certainly have heard some interesting situations where insurance companies have rolled it out without any kind of governance structure. And we've ended up in what I can best describe as mental health counseling kind of inquiries. You know, Pandora's out of the box. How do we get it back in? How do we make sure we understand what people are connecting to without, you know, our IT finance organization getting a bill for 70 grand for some, you know, unknown integrations with some middle office software. So I think the key thing is having a governance structure. And you know, that's going to take collaboration with the development organization and the business.
Yeah, and you know, I'll jump in. It's not a new thing, right? I keep sort of talking about, you know, 30 years ago, you know, some of these problems still existed, right? So governance is critical because, you know, a couple of things can happen, and you know, one of them that we've seen within Guidewire is where people start automating processes within some of these low code platforms that are also automated within your core systems. And so you actually end up having logic that's at cross purposes with each other, and situations where people don't sort of understand how that sort of mishmash is going to result. So that governance is actually very important in terms of you know, where you can and where you can't do this, because you know, with low code, you know, the sky's kind of the limit, right? You just not obvious to the people within the IT department exactly what's going on.
Great. No, I appreciate that. Next one, Anurag. How important is the need for a low-code automation platform for innovation and agility in long-term technology investment strategy for insurers?
A great question. In fact, this is probably a segue from the previous question that Alan and Tim talked about. So obviously, Tim said that it is sky is the limit. I heard that.
Yeah.
So obviously, look at the low-code, no-code is not just. It should not just be looked at as a portal development or as a workflow for your employees. How you should really look at it is how you can orchestrate your entire investment in your insurance organization, be it Guidewire, be it your ERP, be it your claim system, be it your other system, whatever systems today you are running, and there are several number of such systems which participate when it comes to underwriting, when it comes to claim, when it comes to policy issuance, when it comes to contact center. There are several such applications, and all of those applications in its own place are doing great job, absolutely. But you need an orchestration on top of that, and that's where the low code no code plays a vital and important role. Not only it combines everything, but it also infuses technologies like artificial intelligence, machine learning, robotic process automation. It combines and marries those content which you have accumulated for the last 3 to 5 decades from these policy holders, from these agents and producers. It also combines the product documentation, the terms, the conditions, the rules, the policy which was applicable last year versus the policy which is and the coverages which are applicable this year. How do you compare those? Some things are in certain PDFs, some things are in certain databases, some things are in certain rules. How do you bring those 360-degree view here? So the low code no code is not just be looked at as a one app development or one workflow implementation. That's what the philosophy that we have adopted with Newgen platform when we have gone to other insurers in their digital transformation endeavor.
Great, thank you, Anurag. All right, we have time for one more question per presenter here. We'll go back to Tim again. Let's see. Guidewire appears to have components within their solution in certain areas that overlap with RPA and artificial intelligence. How is that resolved when using a partner such as Newgen?
Yeah, I'm going to throw that back to Ellen since she answered it before. No, I'm just kidding. Everything, right? It's and you have to make decisions, right, about where you're going to leverage this, where you're going to depreciate the ownership of the process back into the core system, and where your RPA and those solutions are sort of going to own it, right? Because it's so easy to sort of get at cross purposes, and this is definitely what you don't want to do.
And I just wanted to add here, like, see, low code no code is or any such platform, it is not a replacement of what you have in your core system. Absolutely not. It is to enhance that capability. So if let's say Guidewire is doing certain artificial intelligence led underwriting and giving the underwriters those benefits, we want to take it to the next level with the platform. We want to combine that with other artifacts, with bringing the content, with bringing the rules, with bringing other areas and of what the underwriter goes through in a day of life.
Yeah, I want to amplify what Anurag said. That's really basically how you're going to customize your chassis, is what you're going to develop in low code, no code, the APIs in marketplaces and things like that, and how you're going to make it really distinctive and a competitive differentiator for your organization. So that's kind of the future of core.
Awesome. Got a little bit of everyone on that one. We'll go to Alan here, so going down the line. In the face of change, how ready is the legacy insurance core and tech stack to support new products, experiences, and distribution? This is a two-parter. I'll let you answer that one first.
Yeah, well, tragically, it's for a lot of organizations, it's not prepared, right? Because we're still, we're still dependent on mainframes. Unless a comet hits mainframes in a lot of the large carriers, they don't have a compelling reason to change. So, we're kind of stuck in this legacy stuff talked about from 20, 30 years ago that we're trying to enhance, but it's stymied. It stymies a lot of traditional insurance organizations. This is one of the reasons why you see the insurtechs been able to move so much faster, because they had a blank sheet of paper they could start with. So I think unless they've been able to keep up with adding capabilities that I had talked about, in just the point that Anurag had made a moment ago, they're just going to be further and further behind, especially as we look at new competitors, embedded insurance, the degree that we're looking at personalization and stuff like that. A lot of these platforms aren't going to be able to support it, unless we're doing, something really innovative.
You kind of already answered the second part of this question, but I'll just read it anyway,
Okay.
in case you have a new spin or somebody else does as well. If the legacy systems can support the evolving business requirements, what are some of the means that business and technology leadership will depend on?
Oh yeah, as we've talked about this kind of throughout our session today, is APIs, marketplaces, either APIs that were customs, the ones we're getting from marketplaces, obviously, anything with AI automation, and of course the big area that we've talked about today, low code, no code, being able to extend the capabilities, either coming from our professional development organization or the thousands of citizen developers, if we choose to equip them. And equip them with guardrails, I think are going to be the means that we're going to be able to get there.
Yeah, the one thing I'll maybe just add is one of the things probably one of the most astonishing things I've seen in my career in the insurance space is for an industry sort of known to be some of the most risk adverse, their willingness to embrace insurtech, right? Companies. Yeah. Just starting out, the number of, Guidewire has something called the Vanguard program, where we're working with a lot of companies who, just have got their Series A funding. And in many cases, they're also, partly funded by insurers. Insurers are actually buying into companies. So I think the really cool thing is, where you're dealing with, system administration platforms from 20 and 30 years ago, the fact that insurers are willing to bring in some of these targeted niche solutions and then deploy these low-code solutions that have these sort of enterprise kind of transformation capabilities around integration management and so forth. I think that that's going to be an important way that people are able to embrace newer technologies as they build the business cases to move to more more modern core platforms.
Okay, thank you, Tim and Alan, of course. Last question for Anurag. Digital transformation journeys are very complex. How does the Newgen platform help insurers to start with digital transformation?
Very well said. It is complex. There is no denying to that, especially in the insurers. Both Alan and Tim talked about it, right? When you are living with a policy, let's say if it's a property policy which is living for 20 years, 30 years, you have accumulated so much information and hundreds of interaction, content, email, fax, call centers, branch walk-ins, producers meeting. There is a whole, and then when you are trying to, let us say, serve the policyholder for one of the service requests that this policyholder has put into your operations or to your call center, you are looking at that scattered information which is in multiple places. So yes, it is complex. One of the myopic view I would advise insurers to avoid, which we have seen, is generally we all think the customer experience has to be great. And generally, we have seen the insurers start with the portal, with the mobile, with the customer interface, the communication. And while that is all great, sometimes we see that the internal operational efficiencies are overlooked or ignored or are given a priority. We have seen increasingly that a better customer experience depends heavily on a better employee experience who are working in your ops, who are working in your middle office, who are working in your back office for those services that finally requires rendering to the customer. So in a nutshell, what I would like to say is pick up maybe few processes, maybe few service request types, maybe few line of businesses or products, but then always connect the front, mid, and back in one. Don't just start with front or in any one combination. Always keep a holistic view of the front, mid, and back. And I think that's what will take you to what you want to achieve.
Great answer. You see, I think that's it. Yep. All right, that is it. So with that, we will conclude today's webinar. I wanted to thank all of our speakers, Anurag, Ellen, and Tim. Thank you so much for dedicating your time today, answering these questions, and also presenting on these extremely relevant topics about low code, no code in the insurance space, and how we can further automate and make our lives a lot more efficient. So with that, we will go ahead and conclude the webinar. I want to thank everybody for joining today, and hopefully everyone learned something a little bit new and is excited to move forward with hopefully their digital transformation of their own core operations as well. So thank you everybody, and enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you. Goodbye.